Yep.
Go ahead.
Who is Coach Schilling going to have as assistants on the men's program?
He hired Dan Tharp as his main assistant. Dan, Joe would know, Dan actually was the graduate assistant for us at USD for a couple of years, and then he went off and tried and chased the D1 dream all over the South and all over the place, and finally just decided to come back to where he's most comfortable. He's originally from Walker, Minnesota. And then Alex Irvine is also helping out. He's an admissions counselor, and then he's helping out additionally when he has time.
What's the answer of getting Yankton High School athletes to go to Mount Marty?
Well, I mean, I think you need to be competitive. You know, it's winners. If you have winning programs that are going to attract, you know, higher level athletes or local level athletes, I think, you know,
So you got the baseball players.
I think I think the emphasis is there, and it's the easiest place for our coaches to go recruit. I mean, it's right down the road; they don't have to drive. But you know, if we can get competitive across the board, I think that's the key to attracting, you know, your local kids.
Chris, is there anything that has to kind of happen to have a really public drive for a field house? It just seems like, you know, it is talked about a lot, and I know a lot of things are going on behind the scenes, but what would be the step to really make it, hey, you know, we have raised this much and we need to raise this much more, and how can we do it?
Well, I think a lot depends on what's going to happen maybe in the next 6 months,
Okay.
and how we want to proceed. Obviously, and I think potentially Chuck might be able to speak to this because he was part of this process. You know, there was an original renderings, and then, you know, there was some needs to be collaboration with the city. We don't need to duplicate efforts between what the city's doing and what the, you know, you talk about the Crane-Young worth agreement. We might talk about that collaboration partnership. We don't need to build a turf soccer complex when Yankton High School's doing it. There's some things that Yankton High School needs, or the community might need, that we might be able to accomplish in the field house. So it's figuring out just how all that's going to come together. And once that's done, then, you know, how that's all going to look and how that arrangement's going to be put forth together. I think that's probably step one, and then moving beyond that, we'll take the appropriate steps.
Why don't you mention too, because that looks real nice there in Crane-Young with Yankton High School and Mount Marty College.
It is a really, I mean, I think again, Chuck was part of those.
Careful.
They're excited about Crane-Young work.
See, there you go.
They want to play at Crane-Young.
Darn right.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a football program?
Football? I thought we were undefeated, Chuck. We are. Oh. I think it's the duty of any athletic director to explore all options, whether it be football to e-gaming to women's lacrosse. Right? I mean, that's what we have to be. We have to be looking at all different options for our students and our student athletes. I think the football option at Mount Marty will be discussed at some point, and at that point. But you know, our focus right now is we have the number of sports we do, and can we get competitive across the GPAC in the sports that we currently have? I mean, that's our focus. Yes, sir.
For the uninitiated, what would a field house be? What kind of activities would go on in a field house? How big is it? What are you talking about? Well,
there was several renderings that when I took the job to look at, and I think the one thing that I would say kind of stealing from USD is the idea that one thing we're doing is we're going to add about 80 feet to one of the existing plans, and we're going to try and add 2 additional basketball courts. So that when time constraints and student athletes, especially with the roster sizes that you have at the NAI level, when you're talking about utilizing Simple Arena for men's basketball, women's basketball, and volleyball, well, you're talking about probably a varsity team and a JV team trying to get on when volleyball's in season. 6 practices in one day in one facility. So if I'll talk about the original plans and we'll talk about this addition. So the addition would be 2 additional basketball courts so that volleyball, women's basketball, and men's basketball can all practice between 3:30 and 5:30 every single day, or between 4 and 6, or whatever it was. They all can practice at the same place. Just, I think a lot of you have been over to USD, exactly like what they have, the arrangement there. I think their field house plans originally didn't call for that, and then we wouldn't alleviated our problems that we have with the space issue in Simple Arena. As far as what the original renderings were, it's a massive structure that will house, a weight room, a fitness area, an 8-lane track currently is in the plans, and then in the middle would be a turfed infield for baseball and softball. So it'll pretty much service every single one of our sports.
Chris, where is Coach Kassin at now?
He's actually coaching at Sisseton Wahpeton Junior College in Sisseton, South Dakota. But my mom lives in Oklahoma, so he'll go back there at some point.
Hey, Chris, how about mentioning the job? How do you feel that Cody Schilling is doing in these, opening weeks and everything leading up to a season? What are some of the things he's, being done to kind of get things going?
I mean, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Scott, I think, of the top in-state kids that aren't going to Division 1s or Division 2s, he got the top NEIA recruit in the state to commit already, and then he got another commitment last night from a local kid. And I think there's another commitment potentially coming maybe tonight. So just his connections to this area, to this region are paying dividends for us. And even what he was able to do late, signing, he signed 4 kids after he got the job to help this year. Some of you, South Dakota State, would know the Callahans. I think it was Griffin and Garrett that played for South Dakota State. Their younger brother is now at Mount Marty. He took another Division II transfer from a school in Oklahoma that averaged 10 points a game, and he was able to get another point guard late. So he was able to add 3 really nice perimeter players really late in the process that should help this year. So no, he's doing a great job. The way he represents himself, the way he talks, the way he carries himself is just his presence on campus alone has been huge just in the time that he's been there. So no, I think he's absolutely doing a phenomenal job. Yes, sir. I'm Chris Kassin.
2 months into the job, what have you learned about maybe the job or about yourself, transitioning into this role?
I would say, one, there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of the coaching staffs that are currently there, and then the additions of Cody, and we will have a tennis coach here, hopefully pretty soon, a full-time tennis coach here pretty soon, are really, really good people. They're really mission-driven. They really care a lot about the student athletes. They work their tails off, and I think that's the one thing 2.5 months has really stuck out, is just the quality of people that surround themselves, including Chuck, including Cindy, including those in the athletic department. You think of Coach Bernardo. I mean, the things he's done as a baseball coach, and then on top of that, he's on top of the SID, and on top of that, he pretty much is the best advocate for Mount Marty and as a college and our athletic department that you're ever going to find. So people like that, just representing us has been huge. I think one of the challenges is kind of the more of the day-to-day interactions and things. When I was just a fundraiser, it was pretty on your own. You're on your own schedule. You run your own things, and now you're kind of beholden to a larger group and a larger people that are looking up to you and looking for answers. So, did I answer your question, buddy?
Yeah.
All right.